Morning, everybody. Actually, it's afternoon right now. Jason, Hollis Farms. Had a pretty big rain down here last night, and had some stuff going on earlier today. So I'm just getting down here, and I got a project that I want to work on in these clover fields. And I get down here to this first field, I'll show y'all what I kind of got in mind. A little different than what I normally do, and I'm hoping it works out. We'll see. Alright, so here we are out in one of my clover fields. It's a little thin on this side, but still a lot of clover down in here. A lot of clover. A lot better on down there, but what I'm gonna work on today, I forget what you call this stuff here. Somebody can probably remind us, old horsetail or whatever you want to call it. Looks like a little cedar bush. But if you let these things, so first of all, the chemical that we spray, clethodim 2,4-DB, doesn't get everything. It gets most everything. And a lot of this grass out here is dead, but I don't want to cut it. But this little cedar weed, or whatever we want to call it, the reason I want to cut it is because if I let it go all summer and it gets real tall, the stem on it gets really big, and then when you clip it, like right before deer season, it leaves that big old stem, and you try to walk across it going to the stand, or drive across it on a four-wheeler and poke a tire, or slipping across them early in the morning before daylight turning out, and it makes too much noise. So I'm going to chance it. The reason I like the weeds, what's dead and what's there, leave it there because it shades the clover and keeps it a little cooler and makes it last. But I'm not cutting low at all. I just want to knock the top off this little cedar bush, we're gonna call it. There's probably a proper name for it, and I can't ever remember it. And it's not gonna be all the fields, or all of each field. I'm just gonna cut where that is. Kind of do a little clover managing, what we're gonna try anyway. We'll see what happens. All right, so I'm gonna crank the tractor on up a little bit more here in just a minute. I may raise up. It's gonna look a little bit ratty. I just don't want it too low and let that clover get too hot, because on down here in front of us, it is some good clover. I can raise up just a little bit more. I just want to knock the top off that clover. Now we're getting somewhere. I think we'll be all right there. I'm going to try this. I think we still got enough height there to shade our clover. There, I'm talking about right there, it is big, and there's some good clover in here. All that right there is solid clover. The more clover you can get, it's kind of its own weed control, pretty much. Like I said, we ain't got to get all of it, but we're going to get where this old cedar weed, it might be a new name, a cedar weed is. Oh yeah, I'm liking that now. I'm liking that. We'll keep an eye on this just to make sure our clover don't burn up. Got that clear cut right there, but this edge was left, and I'm kind of glad because it don't get just a ton of sunlight. Boy, it's thick right there down through this middle. Looks good. Like I said, I ain't gonna get it all. This old cedar weed is a little thick right through here. I'm gonna turn around and we're gonna let the rest go. Like I said, it'll look a little ratty. I'm not real worried about looks. I want doing it for a purpose. Right down here at the end, it ain't hardly any, so I'm gonna keep an eye on it, but I'm gonna loop around and not even touch that. No need. Still a lot of clover down through there though. Just a little maintenance on the clover, a little management. Boy, it is just solid clover right there. I like it. The bigger we can get this clover, less weeds we're gonna have to start with. You catch them turkeys out here too in this shorter stuff, and the little poults need somewhere to run high. They can run into the taller stuff. Some of this right here that's got a shorter cedar weed in it, I'm gonna leave it, and at a later date we may come back and clip it and not have to clip this. We ain't got to get it all at one time. That looks pretty good. We just got to keep an eye on it. I don't want it burning my clover up. All you can see down through those white tops on that clover. It'll be interesting to see how quick this cedar bush, cedar weed grows back too. Out there is where we cut the corner with the brown tree cutter. That's looking good. And keep an eye on it. I don't want that to grow back up. Hoping as I spray this clover will spread on that corner. Just a couple of runs down through here. This is one place, the clover, I thought it was about gone here, but it's coming back good. This was one of the places I noticed the other day and wanted to try this. Just a couple of passes down through here. Some people may say, boy, he burns a lot of diesel fuel or this or that. I really don't burn a lot of diesel fuel. The thing about what I'm doing right here is it's just maintenance. I mean, I bet it's been, man, I'd have to figure it out. I bet it's been 10 years since I planted anything in this field. This field does really good with the clover. And I don't think, I didn't plant any wheat in here last year. I didn't plant many acres of wheat at all last year. But I mean, the spraying, I sprayed one time, and if I can get away without spraying twice, I will. And it's a possibility. Sometimes, some of it I don't spray but once. I mean, but when September rolls around or whatever, and everybody's hadn't done anything all summer, went to the river or whatever, there ain't nothing wrong with all that. I got a lot of time to come down here, so I do it. I would do it anyway. If I was back when I was on the roof all the time, I still found time to do this. Been on tractors at 2 or 3 in the morning. But anyway, you can make time if you want to do it. But what I'm getting at is the work that I am doing with this tractor is simple work, basically not much over idle, and it's not rough on the cutter because I ain't cutting anything. Now we do have a couple of things that's pretty rough on the cutter. You have to take your time. We do it once a year. But as far as my food plots, green fields, whatever you want to call it, when I'll clip these right here and probably won't have to do it again until the fall. But I'm pretty much, my food plots are ready for deer season and turkey season. So I think I'm winning in the long run. I don't have to come in here and it's over the muffler on the tractor and bush hog it and disc it 45 times to get ready to plant. I mean, I'm pretty much already planted. I just got a maintenance. I mean, I've started a couple of new clover plots in the last couple of years, maybe where we worked with the brown tree cutter on some of them skid trails we took over. I got a couple more of them I'm gonna plant this year, and then had to add a little bit here and there, and planted a couple of fire lanes that we made with the dozer last year. But there ain't much clover and much planting goes on down here, managing the timber and just kind of keeping these fields up, maintenance, and trying not to let them get away. Everybody, you know, they say that clover won't last 3, 4, 5 years. Shoot, I've proven that wrong. Some of this stuff's been, I know it's been 10 years. Just kind of keeping it up. Some of it's getting a little thin, and when we had that cold weather last year for a couple of days, got down to 9 degrees. A lot of people was worried, going crazy. I said, what happened? Everybody's saying, what happened? What happened? I said, it had gotten down to 9 degrees. It'll come back. It did here anyway, for the most part. I got one field that I was already worried about anyway. Boy, that clover right there is rolling. But one field that I was a little worried about, and I may have to add a little bit, but it's been years since we put any there. So, boy, this is looking good right there. Here. How good y'all can see it, but there's our ditch we cleared with the brown tree cutter. All them trees is dying. I don't want to get down in there. Hadn't got any cedar weed growing down there. Just working on the cedar weed today. Never exactly done the math on, wouldn't be hard to do, I just never have done it on the spraying I do and the little clipping I do versus come right before fall. All that, whether you spray it, bush hog it, disc it 55, 60 times, and then plant it, and that money you plant every year, I mean, this, when you establish these clover fields, it's expensive to start with, but I don't think it's, and time, golly. I mean, I spend a lot of time here, there's a lot of ground down here, but most places, I mean, you plant some clover, boy, it's just so simple. It's simple. If we did it the old-fashioned way right here, if I did like we kind of used to, and spent all that time, just it wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. This is the way I like it. And of course, like I said, we're working on our pine plantations, super hard, natural browse. It works. It's working, y'all. It's just, I don't think it's going to back up. I think we're going to see some interesting stuff this deer season, having good success with the turkeys. So, until something starts backing up or I see something a little different, I'm not scared to try something, but as long as something's working, I'm not changing. Pretty simple. I like stuff that works, and just I ain't much on change if something's working. Looks good right there where we laid all them trees down with the brown tree cutter. You can see across it now. Now right up through here, I mean, it is solid clover right there. And all them weeds is pretty, there's a few that's alive, but most dead from our chemical. Get up here about a third of the way, and then we start with the cedar weed. So that we'll just leave this alone, man. Some ground will just grow some clover, and that right there, this whole field right here will. A lot of food right there. I'd love to plant soybeans down here, but they won't make it. They'll eat them up. But this clover holds on good. Durana. Get comments every once in a while. I get a lot of comments, and I know I say it in about every video. What are you spraying? Either they don't listen or they ain't watching. Clefidem 2,4-DB crop oil on clover, and then the clover that I really like that does good down here is called Durana. What is it? D-U-R-A-N-O or A-N-A, whatever it is. This is some super clover right here. Just got quite a bit of cedar weed up this way. Boy, that clover shines right here. Shady on both sides. It don't get a ton of sunlight. Don't hardly burn up. That clover's tough too. I disc a fire lane. I didn't get to burn this year. I'm going to come, I don't know, fall or next winter, whatever. But I disc a fire lane all the way down through there. I ain't nothing but solid clover. That old clover's tough once you get it going. I have seen people spray a light dose of Roundup on it, kill the weeds. It won't even kill the clover. I ain't ready to do that yet. Man, that looks good. For some reason, I don't know if it's due to the daylight or the bushes and trees on this side sucking more moisture. There's a lot of clover down through here, but about a 10 to 15 foot off the edge, it ain't no cedar weed. May have something to do with the daylight, I'm not sure, but so I'm off the edge cutting. I think I'm gonna have just a little bitty strip left. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna leave it. I ain't gonna leave it about 6 or 8 foot wide. I'm gonna watch it, see how that we're gonna compare. later and see how that works out. Like I said, this ain't something I gotta do. I'm just kind of experimenting. It is just solid. Banana clover right there. I like it. Alright, y'all, kind of a late start today. Had quite a few things to do this morning and got down here. At least wanted to had this on my mind. I wanted to kind of see how it was going to do. But I think it's going to do pretty good. I got probably quite a bit more of that to do between the other things we're going to do. The roads and stuff, they're getting tall, but I really don't like to cut them things but one time. Y'all will see me probably, if we're going to use the road for logging or whatever, I'll probably cut them right in front of them because it gets so dusty after that it's hard to cut them. But other than that, little clover management, got to take care of our clover. Like I said, once you get established, you need to take care of it and make it last. It's just year-round food once you get it done. Appreciate y'all watching. Out of here.